And
kill all of them, I think.
You hear shouts from inside several of the wagons. You definitely hear shouts from inside the wagon nearest to you, like a cawing of a raven woken from sleep. And he will move back sort of behind the wagon and sort of flatten himself up against it to try and give himself cover from this unknown assailant. Ella, it is your turn.
Ella's fucking pissed.
Play your character,
You know what?
not yourself.
Nope, she's gonna be pissed.
Oh, seriously?
Yep.
We could run. I can't.
We could have been fine. Could have been fine, but no. No murder, but let me shoot this guy. I gotta rethink, like, everything now.
Well, I mean, we did have a contingency plan if shit would hit the fan.
Yep.
And it has.
I think the contingency might be out of the way now.
Yeah. Now that every single person's fucking alerted.
Well, we still have my stealth bonus, and we could try and tiptoe our way out of there. If we cast a fog. And,
Yeah, that's what I'm looking to do. 120 feet if I cast it.
Range is 120 feet. It is only a 20-foot sphere of fog.
Yeah.
You could make it 40 feet if you have a second level spell slot.
Where is everybody? Okay. Hang on. Well, he made eye contact with me, right?
He saw you and Silence standing next to you.
Okay. So...
Distracted by an arrow narrowly.
Hang on. Stop. I don't have the charisma to do that.
Sorry, I whispered to Renee. I said, "You're running from bandits."
That ain't gonna work. I'm trying to figure out the sleep thing. What's the range on that?
Click it.
I did. 90 feet.
No, I mean for us.
I did click it. It didn't work.
Oh.
Sleep? Did that work?
I've got it here. Its range is 90 feet.
Mm-hmm.
The affected area is 20 feet from a point you choose.
So if I pick...
For each level higher than first, you roll an additional 2d8.
Okay, I do actually have... I think I do. I thought I put it in a... Nope. It's in my first level slot. I don't have it in a second level slot.
Okay.
So... that should be about 20 feet. If I cast it there, everybody should be outside of that sphere of influence, and I should be able to grab that guy and everybody in that tent.
Yep.
Wagon.
So that's what I'll do.
Okay.
Actually, roll for it.
I did.
No. Oh, I thought that was you trying to click something else.
I'm just waiting for that to pop up on my end. 20, the effect.
Yeah.
Right. Let me just double check something. I need just to double check stats again. You definitely hear a thump from the guy outside. He definitely falls asleep. Come on, where are you? From the wagon, you do not hear any thumps. Yeah. You hear the squawking from inside the wagon stop, but you do not hear anything else.
Okay.
Or rather, you still hear people sort of shouting and suddenly move, I should state.
That's all I can do, isn't it?
You still have a move action?
I will try to retreat next to Self or behind Self.
Yep. I will say, because the guard in hiding from the arrow has broken line of sight, you can roll stealth to become hidden again, or try and hide again.
I'm sorry, what?
You can roll stealth to hide again, because the guard broke line of sight because he was hiding from Sylph's arrow.
Is he not asleep?
Oh, wait, yes, he is asleep.
Okay.
Apologies.
Good.
But yes, roll stealth if you would so like. Try and hide.
Yeah.
Plus 10.
21. Silence.
Right. Well, I'm gonna pull back too. Over there. And cast Hellish Rebuke on... No, no, I mean, it's time to retreat. Do that much else.
Okay.
I could probably throw another stealth to get back into hiding.
Yeah, you can roll it further away.
Yeah, look at that.
Again, 21, that's fine. You hear the front of the wagon fly open, but from the current angle, anything? Gomi, it is now your turn.
Gomi's just gonna scuttle away up and probably up onto Silence's shoulder again.
Yep.
I'm assuming you don't attack me doing that.
No. Harm animals. Rude. Bad.
I will now, basically, I will say, with everyone sort of still getting ready in the camp, you guys can basically double move with pass without a trace safely, and I will say you managed to flee the camp.
Yay.
You travel for a while, and eventually sort of you hear the shouting fade behind you, and you lose sight of the campfires, etc., and you think you got the way.
Well, once we're clear, Gomi will leave spider form and just be like, what the fuck happened?
Fucking Sylph shot a fucking arrow.
Oh, I'm sorry. I thought we were trying to be stealthy, and
Yeah.
in doing so, it requires people not to notice us. And if someone notices us, what do?
Murder them, apparently.
Which is what you wanted.
No, it's not.
Oh, so I should have just let him walk up on both of you? He saw you. He didn't see me. This is what I said would
Well,
happen.
on the bright side, you guys didn't see what I saw. So, you have something going for you.
What did you see?
Things that cannot be unseen.
Of an unsavory nature.
Are we talking necromancy unseen? Or
No, he had his lover in there. I'm not much of a voyeur, personally.
Oh, well, you know. Maybe I assume too much, but I would assume we've seen that.
Some of you may have.
Well, can anyone make us?
The guy that made eye contact with me?
And He made eye contact
he could
with you.
probably.
Do what?
And he saw Silence. And you also realize they now have one of Sylph's arrows.
Yep. Though it was, I didn't shoot a silver arrow. It should have just been a normal, like. I don't sign my name on my arrows, you know.
They would still be of a similar sort of make and composition, because you buy them in bundles of 20.
Yeah.
So you're gonna throw all of your arrows away, all right now, and.
So, just a quick question: what happened to no murder then? If you fired an arrow at them?
Yeah.
I prefer you, all of you, to pretty much anyone else I've met so far. And and honestly, if I need to do something I don't want to, but it helps you guys, I'm gonna do it.
That's the only reason I went in there.
I mean, I was trying to help. Had my arrow struck home,
That would have been bad.
why? He'd been dead and you would have been done.
Either way, it's bad, but we'll get through it. We usually do.
I agree, and no, it's fucking awful. It's terrible, but
That was stupid.
But Silence is probably right. You probably should dump any arrows that look like. I'll buy you Whitehearth. I'm assuming you can get some in Whitehearth.
well, I'll hold you to that because
Yeah, I would too, but I don't have any money.
I don't have any money either.
God damn it.
Well, I've actually got quite a bit. And like I said earlier, I don't need it for anything. My magic and my armor and my weapon, I don't need gold for anything else to help me.
Right.
And I live off the land, so I'm happy to share if need be.
No, I do the same. I figure, no, you're right. I'll dump these. And
Can you actually pick some up in Whitehearth, bros?
Yes. Whitehearth is a village. Its only sort of main trade, other than the mine, is hunting sort of pelts, meat, etc. So there is definitely a Fletcher in Whitehearth where you would be able to purchase some replacement arrows.
Yeah, that's fine then. I'll just do that.
Is there more than one?
Some of the hunters make their own, but there's sort of only one person really sort of commercially making them.
All right, because I'm thinking that if someone comes in and buys like 20 arrows or maybe even more, like the Fletcher would like remember them.
the Fletcher, I would assume, at least in Whitehearth, already knows me, and I know him.
They're probably actually got these arrows from him in the.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. So it'd look the same anyway.
Yeah.
So just because
What?
I've got a Whitehearth arrow, you know.
Yeah, that's a good point, actually. It could just be bandits that bought them from Whitehearth. We could say that and just say, well, coincidence much.
Yeah.
No.
If someone is trying finger me for the, I'm gonna say it's racism because I'm red and that's just mean to pick on me. So I'm gonna be fine.
I hate to point this out, but it does occur to you, Silence, that not many other teams are lacking.
Exactly, but the thing is that he remembers me. That guard remembers me from our little confrontation back in the city in Marsedge, and is now blaming me for something because he's a shitty guard. And he heard something like a raven, probably, and to make up for the fact that he's incompetent, he's making up this stupid story about a handsome, very handsome tiefling he saw. It's ridiculous.
Well, it's like I said earlier, though. So
Let's leave this for now and actually fast forward. I'm guessing you don't make any...
I'm sorry, all of you guys are cutting in and out. I'm gonna leave and rejoin.
yeah, you're cutting out quite a bit as well. I think it might just be on your end.
Testing.
Let's go.
Yep.
That
Yep.
sounds better.
So, should we go back and try it again? Okay.
Probably not, no. The thing is,
Fine.
I probably could manage it on my own, just with your assistance on the stealth rolls while I'm in there, but it's not worth it, because we'll get into even more shit.
Thing is,
Yeah.
he needs to be within 30 feet of you.
Yeah, well, that's what I'm saying, is he'd have to be up close to the thingy for me to benefit from it, but it's not worth trying again, because if it goes tits up again, then we probably are fucked.
Yeah.
I mean, we could possibly be already. If it wasn't for the goodwill we already have with Nintolian, I reckon we probably would be.
Yeah. No, I was just joking. Let's not. Let's head over to Whitehearth and commiserate.
I would say that as soon as we arrive in Whitehearth, to go to Nimtolian, tell him what we know about the druid, what we know about all that, and then beyond that, be like, oh, hey, by the way, there's this guy, Thomas, he's in a troop.
No. You don't want to say anything, because if you say something and then they come along and say it, it's like, well, who's telling the truth? Whereas if we just turn up, tell him what we know, and say, look, is there anything else you need help with? Our way, even if they do turn up and start trying to report us, we could then turn around and go, oh, these fucking guys again. Like, we had a run-in with them back in the other place.
Well, exactly.
And
Exactly. No.
We really shouldn't report them.
No. If we report it first, and we're the ones that are like, oh, hey, these guys have been a pain in our ass, and then
Yeah,
they
but-
come.
I agree with Gomi on this one. We need to just keep our mouths shut about it.
Yeah, because the thing is, if then they turn up and start trying to report us for something, then it's like, well, why would they have come forwards and said it unless they were trying to cover their ass preemptively?
Yep.
Or unless, we were
It
wrong.
creates reason. If you say something beforehand and then somebody else comes along and says the opposite, it creates reasonable doubt.
Yep.
Whereas if you don't say anything, and then they come to you and say, oh, we've been told you've done this, we could say, oh, fuck, like, we could be like, and who the hell said we did that? Then when they go, oh, it was these people, we say, oh, these fucking guys again, they're out for us because we had a run-in with them back to the other town.
Yeah.
And they knew we were heading here because we explicitly told them we're going to the same place. Can we help you? And then we realised who they were. So if we don't say anything, then we don't have the reasonable doubt there, and we also have, our good defence that way.
It is like I always say. A man that talks a lot has nothing to say unless he's being tortured.
That one made sense up until the end.
Yeah. Like I said, even a broken clock is correct twice a day. That's my second.
Unless the clocks go forward.
Well, let's not look too deeply into it.
It's like you always say, hiding can be a lifetime mirror.
It can. Hiding can be a lifetime mirror. Ella, keep that in mind.
Excuse me?
You have to keep that in mind, that hiding can be a lifetime mirror.
Sure, I will keep that in mind.
Good. You should. It's very good advice.
And now we know
So
when
we go
Sylph
to-
says no murder, he only half means it.
I mean it to the extent that I can convince you guys not to murder people, but beyond that, I'm all in.
Can we just stop that argument now? Please?
Never.
So you arrive in Whitehearth, and I'm guessing you avoid the roads?
If it's quicker for us to avoid them because of self thing, I mean, to go anyway, wouldn't it? If we can, of course.
why would we need to hide? We have nothing to hide.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. But time-wise, if it's quicker for Sylph to go through a forest than it is via the road, then
you get the feeling you might want to avoid the roads by the simple factor of these may not wait for will believe the guard. If he says that that's them pointing at 4 people they've had trouble with, it probably will not end well for you.
Or for the guard. And let's go through the forest.
Thankfully, under Sylph's guidance and sort of Gomi's abilities, you do not find much walking through the forest. And the next few days are sort of relatively peaceful and almost enjoyable, although they're soured between several members of the party. You arrive in Whitehearth from the south and actually find the side of the river near the castle, and as you're sort of walking up to this, you see a large amount of tents and other such structures, because this is where the festival grounds more or less are. In this area by a small outcrop of trees. And so, although it's not yet the festival, that about a week and a half away, there are still people here getting set up already, doing some and sort of just trying to be ready for when it comes. Best spots and be here early. You, for what it's worth, you do not yet see Thomas or any of his troop here.
I wouldn't have worried if they were, to be honest. Now that we're back in a town, they can't outright attack us. Well, they could, but...
But you said you headed straight to the castle?
I would.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sylph would? So everyone goes with him?
Sure.
Yeah.
You arrive, and sort of the guards greet you, and open the door, and this almost comforting familiarity with the place leads you through, and the guard actually takes you not to the Great Hall this time, but straight to Ninto. Was instructed to take you there as you arrived.
Like, as we're approaching it, Gomi would have said to the others, like, don't mention Willow, because they might take it the wrong way if we say an ancient Fey creature turned evil, and, oh, this other Fey creature's helping us, though. So, let's just say the druids told us.
I mean, in your experience, I mean, well, maybe more out of character, it depends, I suppose, on the opinions on Fey creatures of Whitehearth. I mean, what would Sylph know about that?
You don't know much about Fey creatures at all, really. You know they often operate on a set of rules, not always obvious to mortals. You have heard of Fey creatures so utterly alien that they would consider trading an arm for acorn, and that would be a fair trade in their perception.
Do we know if there's sort of like a stigma against any creatures from another plane, though? Like, are they generally mistrusted because they aren't from the material realm, or...?
They are best treated with caution, but they aren't either mistrusted.
Sorry.
Generally, if there's a Fey creature which is friendly, as Willow certainly seems to be, then there will be no active harm against them.
Okay. Scummy would just say, let's not mention Willow. Let's just say the druids told us, and then if any questions come up where we could actually... where it's prudent to say, right, well, one of the head druids is actually a creature from the Fae who gave us this information and helped some corruption, then we say it.
I think that's a good idea.
Yeah, isn't Gomi the one who's talking to the elf?
Well, normally when we've spoken to him, it's been Sylph that speaks.
Right.
If you want Gomi to talk to him because this is a druid matter, then I can do. But I guess it's up to Sylph because he's the one that's spoken to him most.
True. But who sent the raven or...
That's true, actually. I did send a bird. It's possible it made it here first. Yeah, I guess Gomi would speak then, since she was the one that sent the messenger.
Yeah. As you sort of... The guard knocks on Nimtolian's study, and you sort of hear Nimtolian's familiar voice, "Come in." You sort of walk in, and the guard sort of nods and leaves you. And he sort of immediately stands up and walks over to you. He's like, "Ah, you've returned. Excellent. I got your message. Your message. It said you had news."
Yes, we've found my druid friends, and they informed us that this is an ancient corruption from a... can't even pronounce the word. You know which one I mean. The dark heart of the forest.
Yep.
And I'll say, like, the druids thought he was destroyed, and turns out he wasn't. His corruption still exists. The druids pointed us towards a village that had been destroyed. Powers, we went there and cleared it with their assistance. And we know for sure it's definitely him. He's somehow managed to corrupt one of our own druids over to his way of thinking. He's the one that's been orchestrating a lot of these outbreaks of late. We're still on his trail, but we thought it's best we let you know since this is all happening close to your home.
I appreciate that. This is very troubling. A Fey Lord, you say?
Indeed.
Their power is great.
Well, from what we understand, it was. However, when the other Fae managed to defeat him, it seems, rather than being outright defeated, broken into what I could best describe as shards, we found one. The druids called it a black seed. It is what creates the necromantic trees, and the power of necromantic energies flow from them. As far as I can tell, this is what he's become. It's possible he might be trying to find a way to rematerialise himself and continue his war against the material realm.
This is indeed troubling. Did these druids know this fellow? This one who has been corrupted?
One of the druid spirits that they speak with is also a Fey Lord. She was the one that told us of what he'd become and what he'd done. With the assistance of her and her circle was how we finally worked out that, yes, it's something to do with him. But she said we have her full assistance with defeating this evil.
Okay. If you would wait here, I will summon the Lord Beric. I feel he needs to be informed of these, and indeed, I think we should have a council to discuss these matters. Please, wait here. And he sort of leaves the room. and you're sort of left waiting there for like 5, maybe 10 minutes, and then there's a knock on the door, and instead of Nimtolian, it's a guard who sort of says, Master, I'd like you to follow me, please. And he leads you up into the Great Hall and through it towards the far door where you've previously seen Beric walk through several times. And sort of stepping in there, you see it's sort of or more private dining hall that's now been converted into a war room. There's several hardback chairs surrounding a large dark wooden table, and sort of Beric is sat at the head of the table. Nimtolian is sat to the right of him. To the left of him is Christoph, Lord Christoph, and then beside Christoph is Xenifer. Sort of come in and find your way to seats. The door opens again behind you, and Mira, the halfling tavern owner, enters as well. And she looks troubled and slightly out of breath. Run up here, like she sprinted from the Swift Runner. And she sort of looks to Beric and says, I got a guard saying you summoned a council of war? And Beric sort of nods and says, if what we have heard is true, it might be our most prudent action right now. Please, have a seat, and we will divulge what information has been given to us. Make a perception check, everyone.
God damn it.
Okay, Gomi. You actually see, behind Lord Beric, there is a fireplace, a more traditional one with a chimney. It currently has a fire crackling in it, but the way it casts the shadows out and above, you can actually see up in the raftalier, not lit, purely because there wasn't time before they called the meeting. There is a mounted dragon's head, a black dragon.
Mm-hmm.
And it's sort of mounted taxidermy style. It's pretty big. This would be an adult black dragon. But yes, that's sort of up there, sort of mounted above, looking down over the table.
I take it this is the one they defeated then.
Yes. And that would be your best bet, the one they defeated about 20 years ago.
Yep.
Oh.
Other than that, you sit down at the table, and Nimtolian sort of asks you basically to retell what you've told him from the beginning this time.
Do I have to RP that, or can we just say, oh yeah, this
is there anything you add about the chapel with the tree? Do you mention the book?
I think I think the only thing we haven't mentioned is the book, because we mentioned the tree and everything last time. So yeah, I guess I'll just mention that. I'll add in the fact that, yeah, at that chapel we found the book, which led us to find the druids, because it was written in Druidic and was written by a fallen druid.
Christoph sort of pipes up, could we see this book?
Gomi just looks over at Ella, because I'm assuming he still has it.
Yeah, I suppose. I'd like it back, though. And I'll hand it over.
You sort of pass it and sort of down the table, and sort of they open it in front of them. Christoph and Beric look confused, not really understanding it. But you actually see Nimtolian to himself and casts a small gesture, which you actually recognize, Ella, as being the exact same spell you used. He's casting Comprehend Languages. And he starts reading, and you see him become concerned. And he slides the book over, skims right back to the start, and starts reading. Flicks a page, flicks more pages, reads. And he looks up. He looks at Beric and Mira, and he says, "It's Varys. The druid is Varys."
Sylph pipes up. How do you... Wait, you know Varys?
Up, and Nimtolian holds up a hand. "It is Varys." And, sorry, 1 second. "It is Varys, and he talks of working with Arparoxis. But the dates, the times he is talking about, this was written after their fall. And Beric and Mira are kind of staring in shock, and Mira herself sort of almost pushes back her chair and just sort of says, "Bullshit! Please, fucking gods, tell me you're fucking with me, Nimtolian, and this is some poor joke." And Nimtolian, sort of getting just as heated, sort of says, "I am telling you, Mira, it is Varys. He lives." And it basically takes Beric slamming his fist on the table to get these two to stop arguing. And he takes a deep breath and sort of says, because Kristoff is looking just as confused as you are. Zennifer is looking worried and concerned at her father, like as if she kind of knows what's going on, but not firsthand. Beric turns to look at the four of you and says, "How much do you know of our town? Of how it came to be?"
I know the stories say that a dragon was defeated nearby. I've heard rumour that it was some of you that did it, but beyond that, not much.
It is not a rumour. It happened 20 years ago. Marsh Edge was under attack by a dragon called Arparoxis. And he turns and looks above the fire, and everyone else, you now notice the dragon head.
Aww.
And he sort of looks up to it and says, "We killed it. And in return, Lord Marshedge gave us Whitehearth. Offered it to us to settle down. Some of our party moved on. They weren't for the settled lifestyle, but Nimtolian, Mira, and I, we were done with adventuring. The battle cost us a dear friend, Varys, a druid. We thought he had been lost. And yet this journal says he lives. You can understand our shock, our apprehension. Especially as he now seems to be working with the dragon that took his life.
Perhaps that is how we got turned then. Maybe it's not necessarily him anymore, but part of both.
Yeah.
I pray that is the case, for I do not want to go to war against my old friend.
But if it comes down to it, you know he must be killed. He can't be... He can't be trusted now.
He puts up a placating hand. He's like, I know. As much as I wish, trust me, I know. He sighs and sort of Nimtolian sort of looks up, sort of out of reading the journal, almost in shock. He's been reading, he sort of says, our Paroxys had followers, worshippers, kobolds, lizard folk. He dabbled in necromancy, was obsessed with gaining power over life and death.
Speaking of kobolds, did you ever Elder?
Christoph pipes up now. He's like, my knights and I found their camp 2 days ago. We burned it to the ground, but there was no powder.
Then I should imagine that their work means.
If that is so, I fear for this town.
And you know what it probably points to, right? Why else would they take the blasting powder so close to your daughter's wedding? That's surely when they plan to attack one way or another.
That, as you have described, that is what this journal says.
Probably should have read the whole thing.
Thought I did.
Oh, you probably did.
You guys did. You just didn't have the context for this. You didn't know that Varys was part of this group. You didn't know that Arcarax was the name of the dragon they killed. Because literally, up until this point, you have never said their names in front of Nimtolian or anyone who would have known this. I have been here grinding my teeth waiting to sort of say his name. Say his fucking name.
What did I
like
say?
Literally the end of never-ending story sort of princess just begging him to say her name.
I said we should get to Nimtolian. He'll know what to do. But no.
That's why I asked in the week, did you guys show the book to Nimtolian?
Yeah, exactly.
But yes, they all look very worried, and Beric says, well, we already have the militia. They are formed, they are armed, although most of them are more used to swinging scythes than swords.
Well, of course, we will help.
Of course. I fear that the path is already set at this point. If we were to stop the festival, I fear it would mean that they would shrink back into the shadows to strike at another point that we are not prepared for.
So we're the bait then? Is that what we're getting
Everyone.
Like Sennifer is the bait.
Yeah.
The wedding will be the largest event this town has ever seen. The nobles will be coming from Marsh Edge. There will be traders here, circus folk. It will be a 3-day feast. Everyone will be at risk.
Is there any way we could possibly get reinforcements from Whitemarsh? Whitemarsh? Marsh Edge.
Christoph nods. He's like, I could send one of my knights as a rider. Without armor and traveling light, he could be there and come back with more guards. But again, we run the risk of alerting the enemy forces. We do not know what their capabilities are.
Shouldn't we try and track them down?
We can try, but where? That's sort of Christoph responding to that. He sort of looks at you and like, the areas around here are wild, untamed, unknown.
But this is good. The mountain does not tremble at the breaking of dawn. The marriage has to...
You guys realize he said that one before?
Yes,
Probably,
we do.
maybe. Who knows? It's been several days since I did. But it's important to show strength.
Before the
To
dawn.
not be...
If only
Exactly.
I could turn into a eagle or something and look around.
Beric sort of stands, and you can see he now actually he is now walking with a cane. The limp you saw him with earlier has progressed to the point where he now needs a cane to walk. My friends, I understand the grave importance of this, but it is late, and I fear that not much more can be decided tonight. At least not much we can act upon. I say we all have rest and reconvene. And we will bring in as many forces as we can, as much people as we can muster. And whatever our eventual plans, whatever our eventual course of action, we must stop Varys.
Agreed.
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 We're there with you.
Is where I'm going to have to ask to call it for tonight.
Yeah.
Yep. Now, this was going to be a much shorter session.
Yeah, March.
Only by about an hour. Jesus. Well, technically an hour and a half because we started late.
11:30 here.
It's nearly midnight here.
Yeah, 5 hours hence.
Well, I'll be honest, I'm kind of glad I have a long break because I have a lot of preparing to do.